This is for Iz Turley's Hardwoodsman Phase 2 challenges on trees and plants. And right now I'm going to do hazel, Beaked Hazelnut, or California hazelnut. And the tools I use to gather the nuts are a pair of gloves, because the nuts have little hairs that are prickly and get in your skin and irritate you. I grab a hook stick or pole with a hook on the end for pulling branches down, and a container to put the nuts in. And this is a hazelnut. They don't get real big. Small tree, or maybe a large shrub maybe. I'll go with tree, because I use it quite a bit for tool handles and making arrows, spears. It's fibrous wood, so you can use it for a fast bow, a quick bow wood. And it grows on the edges of clearings. All around here, edge of this clearing is hazelnut. And I'll find some nuts. To find the nuts, I gotta sit here and stare at a tree a while. They're the same color as the leaves. Leaves have a double sawtooth pattern, alternating, and they're velvety. Kind of similar to an alder leaf, but you can tell the difference because these are soft, feel like velvet. And I'll get my gloves on, grab a hook, find some nuts. So here's some hazelnuts. You can see how they blend in with the leaves. They can grow in clusters of 1, 2, sometimes you see 3 nuts. There's another one there. They have a husk on them that has prickly hairs. And the Indians, they used to watch squirrels harvest these. At least I read that's what they used to watch the squirrels harvest these and bury them. And after a couple weeks of them sitting in the ground, they'd go back to that squirrel stash, dig up the nuts, and all the husk would be rotten off. And you'd end up with just the hard shell in the nut. That way they didn't have to deal with shucking them. But I'll peel husk off of here. See what's inside. So there's some peeled hazelnuts. You can see how the husk, they have a beak on them. I think that's why they call them the Beaked Hazelnut. A lot of times they grow in doubles, sometimes triples. You can roast these, or you can eat them green, and tastes pretty good. I think it's like a filbert, would be the commercial name. That one doesn't look very good. That's a bad nut. I can always tell when they're real prime for harvest when the squirrels go crazy. You can see them jumping all over the trees, picking nuts. And it's a little early in the year for these, but I think they're still good enough to eat for now. But you can make mush out of them, roast them, eat them green. So there's a shucked nut. Yeah, pretty good flavor. I like them. One way I've been cracking them, if I don't have pliers, is to just cut a hole into a stick to hold that nut in the back of your knife. Tap that to crack the shell. And there you got shucked hazelnut. They're good. I like them. Whether they're green or roasted, either way they're good. This is one of the very, I think it might be the only native nut we have here. I know there's some people around that have like hazelnut or horse chestnuts or different things, but I don't. It's only native. I like native plants. So that's one use. We got food from hazelnut. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to use the hazel for is building materials. On the outside of the tree, branches are really twisted and gnarly. Not too much use for anything. But if you go into the heart of a hazelnut tree, where the only way a branch or anything can grow is to grow straight up, you can end up with some good pieces for shelter building spears, arrows, laddles. And it's also pretty flexible wood. You twist it and break up the fiber some. You can use it as a cord. So I'll gather some wood and show how it could be used to build a quick shelter. Another use for hazel is just making shelters. You can get a lot of straight shelter poles in the center of a tree, and they weave together real easy. And seen Morris Kohansky build these for super shelters on top of logs where you can move them around. He uses clear plastic and a mylar reflector inside. But for this, all I have handy is this tarp. Bushcraft USA nest tarp. So I just pull it up over the framework. And on each side, through the nylon loops, I'll just peg it down, stake it down to the ground. So there's a shelter out of a mess tarp from just flexible hazel. Just big enough for one guy. So there you go, shelter poles. Something else you can build with hazel is a small bow, in this case a little crossbow. It's old, it's been around here a long time. It's been in the weather too long, it's starting to go bad, but it's based on what Ron Hood showed in one of his videos with a little T trigger, an arrow holder, and on this one I've got a leaf for a vein and a bone arrow tip, and it works. So there's something else you can make with hazel.